Oh, that was not supposed to happen. What's up? Happy Friday, everyone. Thanks for tuning in for another live stream. Hope you had a great week and you're looking forward to a great weekend. It is extremely hot here today, almost 100 degrees. So trying to stay cool over here. Let me know where you're tuning in from. And I just got off a really awesome call, like literally right before this live stream. It was like back to back with the Amazon team and some of the other creators who are participating in the Amazon like live and Amazon video shorts and things like that too. So it was a lot of fun. I can chat a little bit more about that later. But what's up, Dee? Thanks for tuning in. Okay, so I wanted to start off today's live by talking about a question that I got in my private Facebook group a while ago, but I just hadn't gotten around to like addressing it. But I've gotten this question numerous times. And so I wanted to talk about when to bring up money if you are pitching them first, right? And you're the kind of the first one reaching out, because I think that it's obvious, like when they're reaching out and they want to work with you, that that there's like a reasonable level of expectation that they should pay you, right? What's up, Zach? Thanks for tuning in. Zach Talks Tech. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Yeah. So when you're the one reaching out, how do you broach the subject of money? Like, hey, I'm reaching out to you. I love your brand. I would love to collaborate with you, but you still need to pay me, right? How do you have that conversation? So I wanted to talk through a couple like mindset shifts that I think you need to have when you're having these conversations. And so the first question is like, when do you bring it up? Is it the initial pitch? Is it like follow-up pitches, whatever? And so I think it's hard to give an exact like timing, like it has to be on the second email or the third email, whatever. My rule of thumb is always as soon as possible, right? I think a lot of creators, again, when they reach out with this like cool concept or the post of the video, a lot of brands think that like the creator is just going to be okay with free product. And so as a creator who still has bills to pay, you absolutely do need to set that expectation as quickly as possible that no, you still need to pay me. Right. And I think that one of the challenges is that this all can happen very quickly, where you reach out, the brand immediately responds or quickly responds and says, hey, yes, I would love to partner. This sounds awesome. And then the creator's kind of in a pickle because they never made it clear to the brand that they have to pay them, right? And so maybe the brand says, oh, yeah, send me your address, I'll send you the product. And then it's like, oh, okay. And then it's like, well, where do I have this conversation, right? Hey, Charmaine, thanks for tuning in. And so I wanted to talk through kind of some key words that you can use to make it clear that, yes, you're reaching out, but you still have to pay me. So the first thing that you can say, these are just kind of phrases to kind of work into your conversations with brands. For example, so glad to hear you're interested. Can you let me know what kind of budget you're able to allocate to our partnership? So something as simple as that, right? So you hook them with your initial pitch. And then when they say that they're interested, then you basically tell them something like that. The second thing, awesome. I would love to move forward. The investment is going to be XYZ. Using the word investment is really key because it implies that they are going to get something in return, right? So most creators use the words like fee or rate or cost. And all of those things to a brand seem like an expense, a marketing expense, right? But when you use the word investment, it implies, again, that they're going to get something back. Words matter when it comes to negotiation, when it comes to talking with brands, right? They really do matter because you're setting the expectation of what you're actually going to get them in return. And by the way, if you have any questions about brand deal negotiations or pricing or anything like that, leave a question in the chat. I just wanted to mention this stuff right at the top because I've been getting this question a lot, but I want to answer your questions for sure. And so that's something else, using the word investment. And then another common one that I hear, is, oh, well, you know what? We've never compensated a creator before, and that everyone else has been okay with just free product. Well, you can say, well, that's great. However, partnering with me comes with a different level of experience and quality than you may be accustomed to. Right. So, for example, you can say if you have key messages or sound bites that you'd like to ensure that I cover in my content, send that to me. Send those over to me. Right. I'll work collaboratively with you to make sure that they're incorporated. Most creators aren't going to do that. Most creators, when you send out free product, most brands have a kind of a relatively low, or PR agencies have a relatively low expectation of either whether they're even going to post about it at all, or whether the creator is actually going to say the features and the benefits and talk about the promotion in a way that they could potentially repurpose. Right. And that's the other thing, is that you can actually say, like, I will allow you, I'll provide you multiple cuts, different cuts that you can repurpose on different platforms, right? So maybe you're going to give them, yes, a long form YouTube video, or you're going to give them some photos for Instagram. But, again, I'll also give you like let's say a 30-second cut for of the video that you can use for IG. That's in a 1x1 format, square format, or a 15-second vertical cut that you can use on IG stories or something like that, right? Going the extra step. Also, like, I'll extend paid media rights for 90 days, let's say, right? Again, all of these things come with the level of experience and expertise that I'm going to be providing to you. But yes, you still need to pay me, and here's the price. Here's the investment, right? Right? So that's absolutely critical. What's up, Drea? Thanks for tuning in. Drea, I know I have an email from you sitting in my inbox, and I'm going to get back to you as soon as possible. But yeah. And so then the third thing here to think about is make your offer seem so good that they literally cannot turn it down. I'm reading this book right now that I really recommend on Audible, and it's by Alex Hormozy, and it's called, bear with me, it's called $100 Million Offers: How to Make Offers So Good People Feel Stupid Saying No, right? And it's a really, really good book so far. I'm a couple chapters into it, but I love reading books like this about mindset and negotiation and things like that, because the whole goal in these situations is that make your interaction with the brand so unique that like so unlike working with any other creator, any other influencer. What's up? Oh, we got the cameo early today.
Yeah, I
Come
just
here,
put
boo.
the groceries away.
Starbucks.
Hi, friends. I went to Starbucks and I put groceries away. How are you?
We're talking about how to tell a brand to pay you, even if you were the one who pitched them.
Yeah, for sure, because you are everything, my friends. You are worth it.
Mm-hmm. What kind of Starbucks did you get today?
I got a pumpkin spice latte and it's really good. Like,
what?
I don't usually like pumpkin spice lattes. Hi, friends. How are you? Who's here? Hey, DM fam. How are you? You guys, it's gonna be like 99 degrees today. It's gonna be so really hot.
Yeah. So yeah.
Ooh, Keto Twin says, how do you respond to viewers leaving comments on sponsored content that are having issues with the product of that company? I usually just tell the company or the brand, and then the brand will respond. Brands tell me to not reply to those comments because I don't have all the info like they do. So I usually just leave it to them, but ask the brand, I would contact the brand, because one time I did a vitamin brand and this person was all like, what are you talking about? You don't need vitamins. And I'm like, I think I do. I think I do. Yeah.
Yeah. So the three frameworks that I would use, Emily, I'm assuming this is you, Emily. You have three things that you can do. You can ignore it. Right? That's fine.
Friends.
Okay.
Love you. Bye.
Love you, honey. Thanks. So there's three things that I think you can do here. You can ignore it, right? That's within your purview. It's up to you whether you want to do that. You can delete it, right? This is your community. This is your space, and you're absolutely allowed to curate a positive community. If someone's being toxic and they're having issues with the brand or something like that, that's not your problem. That they should go and address it on the brand's Facebook page or send it to their customer service or something. It's not necessarily your issue. Or you can engage. And the engaging, like replying to them, that whole thing should be communicated with the brand ahead of time, right? Like, you should absolutely have that conversation prior to the post going live. Is like, hey, are there any common things that people have replied to other creators' posts that, and here's your suggested replies. So I absolutely would recommend having that conversation with the brand prior to going live with the post, or at least, hopefully they have something like that in the creative brief about how to deal with that. So great question. Okay, so bookending the initial conversation, the initial thing we were talking about making your offer seem so good that they can't turn it down. You want to make this experience so unlike working with any other creator that it won't feel like a transaction to them, right? You'll feel more like a consultant to them that's parachuting into their business, right? Helping them identify gaps in their marketing strategies on social media, right? It's going to feel like the best ROI that they've ever gotten for a marketing investment, right? So again, it absolutely comes down to illustrating to them why you are different from any other creator out there. And look, it's not your problem if they haven't compensated other people in the past, don't let them gaslight you into thinking that that's okay, right? No, you have bills to pay. You can't pay your bills with exposure, right? And so there was a related question that Dee had up here, which is, what is a great response when the brand says we have a small budget? So first of all, small is very different for every brand. I've had some brands say to me that, we have a relatively modest budget on this one. We only have $15,000 or we only have $10,000 or whatever, right? Small is in the eye of the beholder. So it depends on the brand or depends on the agency, whatever. So definitely ask their budget, because, what small means to you could be very different from the brand. But again, I can't tell you how many times we've experienced this, that a brand says that they have a small budget, and then you illustrate your value, you provide your packages to them, you provide your whole pitch, your proposal, and then all of a sudden they find the money. All of a sudden they're like, okay, well, on second thought, we move some funds around and we're able to make it happen, right? So the biggest challenge I would say is, don't make whether the deal happens or not based on price. That's not what it's all about. And in fact, that book that I mentioned to you does a great job explaining this, is that your whole conversation with them should be about value and the deliverables, the quality, the strategy, all of the things that you're going to provide for them, the ROI, right? The assets, all of this, the relationship. And price is a very, very much a secondary consideration. And so I think that that's a really critical distinction to make, because I feel like so many creators, they just focus on this, it's the price, and that's really all they care about. And I get it. There are some brands who that's all they care about, and it's going to be hard to have that conversation with them regardless. But there are a lot more brands out there, in my experience, that once you lay it all out for them and illustrate the value that you can bring to them, then that's absolutely going to set you apart. Here's something that most creators aren't going to do. Hey, I'd love to hop on the phone with you to chat through this more. Most creators and influencers I know hate getting on the phone, hate having that conversation. And they are, they just feel like they'd be paralyzed in that situation. And in fact, I was a creator DM me yesterday or 2 days ago saying that he pitched a car brand, a local car, dealership, I think. And the brand is interested and wants to chat. And he was like, oh, what do I do now? I don't know what to say. I didn't think I would get this far. And my advice to him was essentially just ask questions, just get on the phone, get on a video call, whatever. And basically just say, ask them, what's your social media strategy like? Have you worked with influencers before? What was this results of that, right? Was it successful? Was it not successful? If it wasn't successful, why was it not successful? If it was successful, what would you like to do more of? Right. So it's you just ask all these questions. You don't need to expect that you have to get on the phone and have all the answers right away. Right. That's actually presumptuous, right? Because you don't know what they're trying to do, right? So once you get on the phone with them and ask a bunch of questions, then you don't need to give them any sort of proposal or pitch on the phone. You basically said, okay, well, this has been super helpful. Now that I have all this information from you, I'm going to put some ideas together and I'll get back to you. Right? You can always kick the can down the road. You don't ever let a brand make you feel like you have to give an answer right on the spot, right? Because that way you can collect your thoughts. You can, get advice from me or from other creators. In my Brand Deal Wizard course in our community, right? You go into the chat and ask, hey, this is where I'm at. What would you guys suggest, right? So again, don't feel like you're forced to answer on the spot, because you definitely don't need to be. So hopefully that was helpful, Dee. And Zach had some questions here too. I recently had the brand come to me, they asked about a video and it was clear they wanted to sponsor. Then they offered a dollar amount. Absolutely. The amount was a little lower than I normally charge. However, I let them know that I believe in developing a long-term relationship. And so I'm flexible and I could agree. That's great, Zach. Yeah. So essentially you basically like set the expectation that, you're willing to like do it for this rate initially, but for future videos, like, that this is your normal rate. And if that's kind of a tactic that you want to use, I think that's totally reasonable. For sure. What's up, Oliver? Oliver tuning in while he commutes home. We got that comment from Sarah and Emily. Patrick says working with local brands is so rad. Sounds so rad. It really is, Patrick. Let's talk about this point. Actually, Dee actually has some experience on the like working with local brands because she was pitching some local brands and it actually turned into a job for her. Right? Which is crazy, right? Like you never know what your pitch is going to ultimately lead you down. And the other thing too is that, all of these like big giant national brands, they are getting pitched left and right by creators and, sliding into their Instagram DMs or whatever, or like sending messages to their press email or whatever, right? So they're getting inundated, most of these big brands. But do you think local brands are? No, right? Do you think local brands have marketing budgets? Of course they do. They now more than ever need people to help them with their foot traffic. They need people to drive into the door to help, especially during the times of COVID, like, business owners are desperate to like find ways to like move the needle when it comes to revenue and foot traffic and things like that. So if you can go in there in your local community, right, and help them do that, right, you will be a rock star. And they absolutely have money for funds, right? Like what are these business owners doing to try to drive traffic? Probably they're putting ads in. Is Penny Saver still a thing, right? The local like Val Pack or the advertising little booklet that you get in the mail where it's like, insulation services or like, cleaning, house cleaning, like, like outdoor lawn, like all this stuff. Like you laugh about that, but like that costs money to put their advertisement in there, to do any like advertisements on local TV stations or like, direct to mail things, like actual like postcards, like local business owners are spending money on these things, right? So if you can teach yourself Facebook advertising, if you can, create your niche that, okay, I'm going to be like an Atlanta-based creator, right? And I'm going to talk all about Atlanta-based businesses or something like that, right? You better believe you're going to make a killing doing that, right? Because local business owners are going to want to work with you, right? So Patrick, like doing deals with like local businesses, that is absolutely a tactic that not enough creators, especially up and coming creators, don't use quickly enough. I think that is the quickest way to get money and to get revenue as a small creator is to work with local businesses because like your pool of competition is just so much lower. And Patrick said, I just had my first brand reach out. Awesome. Free product with an affiliate program for orders. We'll be reaching out to other creators I know have worked with them. Awesome. Congratulations, Patrick. That's a super big accomplishment. And in fact, my next course that I'm working on is going to be for you, Patrick. It is called Gifted to Paid. And it's going to help you turn deals like that, where it's just free product, or maybe it's an affiliate program, into flat fee payments, right? So because I hear that a lot, which is like, in the initial stages where where you're getting a lot of those types of inbound inquiries, that's absolutely the first step. And it's a super exciting step to actually getting paid and making a sustainable income with brands and things like that. But congratulations, that's a huge step. Dee said something up here. Oliver said, what's up? Listening while commuting from home. Dee said this, which is that I was on a Zoom where Chris Rock was the guest. Wow, on a Zoom, that's cool. He said the worst negotiation is accepting the first offer. What do you think of that? Good question. There is this thing that they say when it comes to negotiation, which is that the first person to name a price or name an offer amount loses, right? Because you never know what the price elasticity of the buyer is. And price elasticity means basically like, could they have afforded the same product for $10,000 or $100, right? Or is it $1,000 or maybe it's $2? Like you really don't know what this person could afford or what they would be willing to pay for the value transfer for what you're actually going to give them or going to offer them, right? So unless you know that, it's very difficult. So I think what Chris Rock, I'm presuming this is what he's saying, is that the worst negotiation is accepting the first offer. Is that very much thing? It's like, you want to. At some point you got to pick a price, right? Especially if you're a creator and the brand's not going to give you their budget, then you do need to pick a price at some point. But I think that's probably what he meant by that. I totally forgot that I have got people on the Instagram live that I haven't been paying attention to because I didn't boot it up. What's up, everyone? We got Rashida Banks. We've got Bee Sting. We've got who else? We got 10 others. I guess I can't. Can I see who the 10 other people are? I guess I can't. But if you have any questions in the IG chat, definitely tune in as well. Or leave it in there. And I'm going to prop this up here on my water bottle so I can see the chat. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions. Honestly, I think there comes a point at every negotiation where you have to feel good about the price that you ultimately provide, right? And feel good like, okay, I don't know exactly what the brand would pay me, but if I got this amount, I would be very happy. Right. That's kind of like my going rate. I'm very comfortable with that. I wouldn't feel resentful throughout the entire process. This has happened for sure for us in the beginning when we were first working with brands, is that we weren't confident in the rates that we were providing. And so we kind of put a low price because we really wanted the deal. We wanted the experience and everything like that. But then what happened was that throughout the process, it became obvious that it was like so much more work than we expected and anticipated, that it was kind of like, oh, I can't wait for this to be over. And you definitely don't want to ever have that feeling when you're doing these types of partnerships. Like, you want this to be a great thing, and you want to be able to go back to the brand at the end and be like, hey, this was so amazing. Like, can we turn this into a long-term thing? But if you price yourself so low that you like talk yourself out of ever wanting to work with them in the future, that's a problem. And because we've talked about this before, which is that the whole point of working with brands and doing these types of collaborations is not for it to be a one-off transaction. It's for it to turn into a longer term thing. So the last thing you want to do is psych yourself out of it and basically convince yourself that this brand sucks because of all these requests that they're making and all these things, right? No, you don't want that, right? You want there to be a very clear value exchange that like you guys are both getting something amazing out of this partnership, right? So what's the way that you do that? You feel as though you're compensated adequately for this partnership, right? And so the only way you can do that is price yourself high enough so that because the other thing too is that what actually often happens, I think, is, hey, what's up, Rashida? What's up, Meg Riley? Thanks for joining. So what often happens, I have found, is when the brand starts asking for a lot of things like edits or feedback and things like that, that is a normal thing to expect in a collaboration like this, right? But if you price yourself, and so once you price yourself high enough, like you will expect that. You'll be like, okay, yeah, that's fine. The brand can do feedback. We have the feedback rounds in the contract. Like totally, like this is good. I'm good with this, right? But when you don't price yourself like what you're worth, right, you will start resenting all of these little things, even if it's in the contract, even if you didn't, you were kind of stealing yourself for that expectation, right? When they start asking for these things, you're going to resent them. You'll be like, I'm not even being paid enough for them to be asking for this, right? You just do not want to get into that mindset because that's not where you need to be. So that's why it's so crucial to price yourself accordingly, okay? And this is a great segue to the fact that a lot of you have been asking for when the next cohort of my course is starting, and finally have the dates, y'all. So enrollment is going to be opening on September 17th. Hold on. Let me quote that. I think it's September 16th, actually. September 16th. So enrollment for the course opens on September 16th. I'm super excited because this will be the 4th cohort. And the first class starts on September 23rd. Thursday, it's going to be at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, on every Thursday for those 4 weeks, the 23rd, the 30th, the 7th of October, and the 14th of October. Super excited. And I've already got a ton of people on the wait list. I'm thinking I might actually need to put a ceiling on the number of enrollees this time because I just want to make sure that there's an intimate level that I can get with you guys. So super excited about that. Just go to branddealwizard.com if you are interested. Okay. So, and Dee said about the Chris Rock thing that she was mentioning. He says that you can't negotiate without negotiating. It reminded me of how you said to price tier. Yes, absolutely. And in the IG chat, Meg Riley says, what would you suggest? I'm very engaged with my audience as well. Can you, boom, Rashida said, I've got money set aside I can't wait for the cohort. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to have you in there, Rashida. So we already got Rashida. I've got several other people who have also said that they've set money aside. So super excited to have you. Meg, Riley, can you clarify what would you suggest about what? I'm very engaged with my audience as well. Let me know what your question is. Is it about like how to work with brands or something like that? Let me know. And I'm going to take a swig of water. Oh God, that IG chat's going to fall. Keto Twin said, save us a spot. Boom. This is exciting. I'm super excited. Oh, and D said here, when I'm uncomfortable with a negotiation, I remind myself, in my humble opinion, I learned from the best. So add some zeros to that number and I'll be excited to make this work. Brand Deal Wizard, she said a proud alumni bonus. Yes, D was in the last cohort and she's been killing it. D, I need to have you on. Oh, what's up, Ed? We got Ed here. Congrats on cohort number 4. Thank you, Ed. Ed, I'm going to chat about D in a second here, but Ed has been making moves. He quit his full-time job. I just want to hype you up here for a second, Ed. He quit his full-time job about a year ago, maybe less than a year ago. He's been killing it on TikTok. He had something go viral. He was making a macaroni and cheese dish for like 50 people for his wife for like a work function or something. And it has like, what does it have now, Ed? 20 million views on it or something. Ed's been featured on the Today Show. He's just been like killing it. So I'm like so proud of you, Ed. You went all in and full time. And I remember when we first started talking back in the day, you hadn't quit yet. So it's just like so amazing to see how far you've come in just a year. That's just amazing. So I'm so proud of you. So congratulations. And then I want to hype D up here for a second here too, which is that D has been basically, Ed said that 14 million views that video has on TikTok now. It's crazy, amazing. D has been someone who has literally, she even said it herself, like, I need to have you on the live stream at some point, D. We should just like talk about this because you have like such amazing gems. But she has been like literally following verbatim the framework of like the things I thought. She's been basically on every live stream I've had for ever since I started doing it. She went through the program and she has started like consistently making money on brand deals. And she is an up and coming creator. She's an aspiring creator. It's not like she has 100,000 followers or something. She was a person who I mentioned taught, basically converted a pitch into a deal, into a job. Right. So it's amazing. Like it became like an ongoing partnership with the brand that she pitched. So things like that, you just never know what's going to happen when you reach out to a brand. So I'm just so proud of you, D. But yes, we absolutely should get you on the live stream. Okay. And Meg Riley says, I have almost 400,000 followers on TikTok. Okay. And I'm always struggling with what minimum rate I should charge. Good question. Okay. So Meg, DM me, send me an email. I'll help you like kind of think through your pricing strategy here. It's kind of difficult to know without seeing like, your average viewership. There's a lot of information that you should be using when it comes to your pricing. I know a lot of creators out there, there's like some calculators out there that I've seen or things like that where it's very surface level. It's like, oh, what's your engagement rate? What's your following? Like blah, 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 blah. In my opinion, those types of metrics are not very useful when it comes to pricing. I do have a calculator that I have that in my course, and it goes through a lot more information, like your impressions, like how many, what's your average reach of like you're getting with your posts, like on Instagram or something, for example. And then the most important thing though, Meg, has actually quite little to do with your following, and it has basically everything to do with what the brand is trying to accomplish with the campaign. And there are 3 main types of goals that pretty much every brand will have. I actually just released a video on my YouTube channel about this and on my IGTV that I called the 5 brand deal pricing mistakes. And so watch that video because I talk about this in more detail, but there's 3 main goals that every brand is trying to accomplish. Number 1 is conversion focus, right? So they're trying to drive sales or engagement or optimize for a click-through rate or app downloads or whatever, right? So it's like some very discrete result. Then that's what they're trying to do when they partner with you, right? So that's number 1. The second one is a content repurposing, right? So the whole goal of the campaign is to get assets that they can then repurpose on their social media platforms or their website or whatever, right? So they're coming to you and being like, hey, we want you to make like 5 videos, right? That we can, they don't even really care that you're posting on your platform, right? And by the way, if they don't care that you're posting on their platform, your rate is now detached from your following. Congratulations. You could charge a lot more, right? And then the third goal that the brand is trying to accomplish is brand awareness, right? It's going to be vanity metrics, right? It's going to be impressions, views, engagement, this type of thing, right? So your pricing is going to change wildly based on what that brand is trying to accomplish, because they're going to have very different what's called cost per acquisition metrics, CPA, than someone who just wants to get the word out there, where the metrics are very squishy, right? So that's really what it comes down to. So pricing, your pricing strategy needs to be a lot more sophisticated than just how many followers do I have and what's my engagement rate. So you can just shoot me a DM and I can help you, and we can chat about it. And then hello, Amber B. Hey, what's up, Amber? We were just chatting. Is there a way to repair with a brand after you were priced low? That's a great question, Amber. Okay, let's talk about this one. So what do you do when you've already set a price precedent, a low price precedent with a brand? So this has absolutely happened to my wife and I before as well. And so this is the best way to do it, is you construct a narrative, you construct a pitch and a proposal that has nothing to do with the price. You basically, put together a case study and you basically illustrate to them all of the value that you've provided to them over the last, let's say, 6 months that you've worked with them, or 3 months, or the last couple deals, right? So you basically literally put together a case study. You say, okay, in the last 3 months, I have done this for you. I have created 12 different videos. I have driven X amount of clicks. Hopefully you have some sort of metrics around that, right? Like if you've got, maybe it was an affiliate-based deal or something, and you can see in a dashboard that you have or something, how many clicks that you've driven. Sales would be ideal if you can show them how much sales you've driven. Maybe at the very least, maybe you can show Amazon. If you're an Amazon associate, you can show that you've driven sales through Amazon associates, whatever, right? Whatever it is, hopefully you have some sort of metrics like that. But if you don't, then just illustrate the high level performance metrics, right? Views, impressions, reach, engagement, comments, take out some great comments that people have left on your post, these types of things, right? So highlight some of that data, right? You can illustrate to them, some other qualitative things that you've had, right? You can say, your turnaround time is super quick, right? Every time they send you a brief, you deliver the content to them in an average of 5 days or 3 days or whatever it is, right? You can get very creative with the types of things that you put in your case study. And by the way, we have a whole module on case studies in Brand Deal Wizard in my course. But you can get very creative, and then you come back to them and you basically say, wow, I'm getting so passionate, I knocked the microphone. You basically come back to them and you say, hey, look at all these things I did for you. And by the way, massive return on investment. So as a result, I am going to be the investment to work with me in the future is going to be increasing, but here's all the other things that I'm going to get with you. So I'm going to continue to do all these things, these great things that I did for you, but now I'm going to also do these things. And oh, by the way, it's now going to be $1,000 a month, or oh, by the way, now it's going to be $2,000 a month, or it's going to be, whatever the investment is. And at that time, you have now listed out all the things that you're going to do for them, the giant value proposition. And then, oh, by the way, the investment is just a secondary consideration. Right. So when it comes to pricing precedents, it's not about the price. It's about illustrating to them and summarizing for them. Because, the other thing too is that marketers are busy. Brands are busy, right? You're probably not the only creator they're working with, right? So it's unreasonable for you to expect them to remember all these amazing things that you did for them, especially if you've been working with them for 3 or 6 months, right? So I suggest take the time to put this case study together. It doesn't have to be formalized case study. It can be in an email. That's fine. But basically summarize all the great things that you've done for them. And then they'll be like, oh, wow, now that I see it all laid out here, you're right. You do a lot for us. I understand now, and I'm willing to increase your compensation because of these other things that you're going to be doing for us. Does that make sense? Is that helpful, Amber? That's kind of how I think through this. Yeah, and Meg says you're awesome. Meg says in the chat, "Thank you, you're awesome. I'll message you. I love your content. Thank you, Meg. I really appreciate that. Yeah, shoot me a DM." So, pricing precedents. What's up, Nadia? What's up, Kolo Heka Kashta? I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. Thanks for tuning in. Let's see. Nice Chris said the number one source for getting the best brand deals with no BS. Dang, thanks, Chris. I appreciate that so much. D says, oh, surprise face. So yeah, let me know in the chat if you have any questions. I am going to take a swig. A couple other updates, y'all. Okay. I had a really, Amber says, yes, it is. Thanks for your answer. I hope you enjoyed your quotes. Amazing. Thank you so much, Amber. Just shoot me a DM and hopefully are you on my email list? That's the best way to stay updated. But if you're not, just DM me and I can send it to you. Okay. So I wanted to give you guys a really cool, exciting update. I had a really, really interesting conversation with a copywriter Wednesday. Her name is Sherelle, and this is what she does for a living. She helps course creators better articulate the value of their course and of the transformation that I'm able to provide students. Because one of the biggest struggles I think that I've had in talking about my course, and like if you go to like the landing page essentially where you can like read more information about it and everything, is I just don't think I do a good enough job illustrating like the transformation that I've helped some creators achieve, like the creators that go through the program, like D in the chat and other creators. It's been, like literally helped them go from like charging $500 for a deal to like $5,000 for the same number of posts, for the same terms, just like understanding their value. Like we talked about, understanding the brand's goals and pricing yourself accordingly, understand pricing strategies, negotiations, different packages, how to construct those types of things. And so when I spoke with Sherelle, it was very interesting because the one thing that I realized that I haven't done very well is ask you guys, ask the people who follow me, who tune in on my lives, who follow my email list, things like that. Ask you, what are your biggest pain points when it comes to working with brands? Because, you know, one of the things that I did was that I don't think that so for example, what I believe to be the biggest challenge when it comes to pricing yourself as a creator is feeling as though you're leaving money on the table. That is the worst feeling. And I've come to realize that. I don't think I realized that in the beginning when I launched the course, because I was thinking it's more about like, okay, I need to get structure to my brand deal strategy, right? Like I need to feel confident that I've got like 5 brands lined up to like be able to like, you know, see my brand deal income like, you know, 3 months down the line. And I while that is important, and while I definitely do teach that, that's not the major pain point. One of the challenges, I think, is realizing that sometimes people don't know when they have a problem. And it's not like creators sit around and think like, oh, like I need to like get more brands into my pipeline. That's like a word I use, but that's not a word that most creators use, right? So working with a copywriter and helping them like walk through this type of thing is helping me realize like, wow, the words that I use is not necessarily the words that a lot of my students use. And part of that has become because I come from medical devices, or I come from the business world or business school or things like that. And yes, I am a creator. I have been a creator for 10 years, but it's like, I've also run an agency, and there's all these things that floating around in my head, and I just did not do a good enough job. And it takes humility and a very low ego to like realize these types of things. And so like, it's just so helpful. I'm super excited to go through this process. And like, I haven't made the decision of whether I'm going to like invest in like doing copywriting. Cause it's, you know, it's a non-trivial investment. It's like multiple thousands of dollars to like work with a copywriter to like completely overhaul my sales page and my like email flows and things like that too. So I don't know, but I'm excited to go down this process, and it is absolutely something that I think is a worthwhile investment because again, at the end of the day, my mission is to help as many creators as possible transform their businesses, transform their lives, and help them like be fulfilled as creators. That is my mission, right? And so whether it, you know, if working with a copywriter helps me reach more creators and have that impact on their lives, it's absolutely worth it to me, right? So I'm super excited about this. Holy cow, Chris! Nice, Chris just gave me a super chat. I did this super chat for 2 reasons. First, because your shirt is yellow. Second is you provide so much dang value. Chris, thank you so much. That is so kind of you. Chris, I want to give a quick shout out to Chris here, because this amazing setup that you see here in the background, this DSLR camera, the lighting, the audio, right? He finally convinced me to get an XLR microphone. This is a Shure SM7B microphone. I would not have done any of this for Chris. I don't even know how many hours we were on Zoom, Chris, trying to like work all this like video audio setup out. So I am like infinitely grateful to you. And so I'm so appreciative of that. Thank you. That really means a lot to me. And I will also say, I definitely help you make a lot of money on a deal that you had in the past. So it's a mutual relationship here, Chris. So thank you so much. I appreciate that so much. And what's up? Kiss my cheeks. Thanks for joining on the IG chat. Okay, so I totally lost my train of thought. What was I talking about? I was talking about the copywriter. Yeah, so that's super exciting to me. And then the other thing too is like I have not done any paid ads at all for the course. And for a lot of course creators, that's like a very big part of their business because I think honestly, my strategy has always been just I'm going to help people one-on-one. If they DM me, if they email me, that to me feels like the most organic way to have impact in people's lives. But again, if my mission, going back to my mission, my North Star, if my mission is to help as many creators as possible, there's just it's a literal impossibility for me to organically reach everyone that's out there who's a creator who's trying to make a sustainable income from brand partnerships, right? So paid ads will be a lever for me to do that in the future. And so again, just thinking through all these things is very, very exciting. And the other thing I will mention here is I've had some people reach out to me about wanting to do their own courses in their content vertical and their niche and things like that. And the advice that I always give is take it one step at a time. I was not even able to be in this mindset or this frame of mind early on when I was just trying to get the course launched and get the material created and have amazing results for my students. And that should be the focus, right? It's only now that I'm on the fourth cohort that I'm able to think about optimization and think about how can I improve? How can I improve student outcomes, right? How can I improve people to get more income, right? Actually make more than 10x, more than 5x their rates, things like that, right? So it's only now that I'm kind of through the thick of it that I'm able to think of those things. And that philosophy should be extrapolated to anything as a creator, right? In the beginning, it's very frustrating. I fired a tweet off the other day about this where it's don't compare yourself as a creator to another creator who has been on the journey for a lot longer than you. That is the quickest way to spiral. Have this downward spiral as a creator because you just get into this comparison mindset and it's just not healthy. It's not helpful at all because those people have been doing this for a lot longer than you. And so it's not super helpful. And just try to maintain focus on hey, this is my lane. I'm doing this amazingly. I'm having a direct impact in people's lives. And that's enough. The growth will come in time. And so there's other ways in which you can be impactful to people as a creator versus just those top line follower numbers or those views that you're getting on your posts. So hopefully someone in the chat needed to hear that. Kay Musso said, thank you so much for providing so much insight. Yeah, my husband Devin has started following you recently too. He's got his first brand deal last month. Woohoo, awesome. Yeah, Devin, I sent a message to Devin that I was actually just talking about Devin Kelly earlier in the chat about the car dealership that he reached out to, or the car company. And so that's awesome. Say congratulations to him for me as well. Keto Africana in the IG chat said, I'm a UX designer professionally, and I do lots of copywriting. I absolutely agree with the feedback the copywriter has given you. Understanding your user pain point and speaking their language is key. Absolutely. So a quick example of this, Keto Africana is, by the way, Keto Africana, can you let me know your name? I'm not sure I ever have known your name. Wait, can I click on your, oh no, I can't go into your profile while I'm on the live. But let me know. But yeah, for example, in my headline on my course, let me actually pull it up so you guys can see what I'm talking about here. Let me share my screen here. Share screen. Boom. Okay, so this is my Brand Deal Wizard landing page. You can't access this until enrollment is over, until enrollment is open. But you can see here in the center of the screen, it says, let me move this so the IG people can see it too. From second guessing your sponsorship strategy to confidently tripling your rates in 4 weeks flat. Prior to this, I had the word pipeline in here. So it said something like, from second guessing your sponsorship strategy to confidently tripling your brand deal pipeline in 4 weeks flat, or something like that, right? And The word pipeline does not resonate with creators. They don't use that word. So that's it's an example of like how this should be like a constant evolution of the things in the way in which you're talking with your followers and your prospective customers. By the way, this doesn't just apply to courses. Okay. I know absolutely apply to you as a creator. So the way in which you can do this is polling and surveying your audience, whether it's on IG stories or you have an email list and you're asking them, you basically start asking them, value you're getting out of me? What is the type of content that you love the most? And pay attention to that feedback. Aggregate all of those words that people are using and start using those in your posts. Start using those in the words that you're saying. Start using that in the captions that you're making. Start using that in your YouTube descriptions, in your blog posts, in your TikTok posts, right? Use that information, because what do you think is going to happen when you start using the words and the vocabulary and the language that your followers are using? It's going to make them feel that much more closer to you. And wow, this person really pays attention to me. They're going to see themselves in the new content that you're making because you've incorporated it into that content strategy. Right? So it's not just about like courses or things you're selling. No, copywriting is absolutely something that creators should study as well. And you absolutely should be thinking about that. And yeah, Kahinde said, Keto Africana, Kahinde said that Kinde. Did I say that right? Let me know. And she said, oh, you've been following y'all for years. Thank you so much, Kinde. Let me know if I've said that correctly. And yeah, sounds to me like you're auditing yourself. That's a step in the right direction, in the right mindset. Exactly. Yeah, you have to be very low ego about this kind of stuff. Honestly, yes, it's your platform, but if you want to improve, you absolutely need to be auditing yourself, not just in the words that you're using, but in your metrics, right? Going into your like audience analytics. Like here's another thing. I'm gonna show you. Let me go into the back end of my YouTube platform here. Is this fun? Like showing you the behind the scenes. I love editing like auditing myself, because I think it's so much more fascinating than just like talking in a vacuum. How have we already talked for 47 minutes? I don't understand how that happens all the time. Okay, analytics. I'm going to pull this up so you can see it. Here. Okay. I'm like very transparent. You can like see. I don't really care how much. Okay, so want to know how much money you make on YouTube for 6,000 views in the last 30 days? $26. Right? So you have to be doing a significant amount of views on YouTube to make an income, right? So if you are an aspiring YouTuber, you have to understand you're going to needing to be making millions of views a month to be making a meaningful income. But that's not why I'm showing you this. What I'm showing you, like my YouTube strategy is totally different than this. It's not, I'm not trying to make money on YouTube. Like YouTube is a top funnel strategy for me to get in front of as many creators as possible. Right. So, I have my courses and things like that, other monetized revenue streams that make up the bulk of my income. Obviously, my wife and I are creators also, so we do lots of brand partnerships and things like that too. But when it comes to YouTube, I'm not looking to make money on that. If a creator finds me from my YouTube, joins my email list, and then ultimately joins my course, which is $1,000, it's an investment, right? Then that makes sense. Like, right. That's a positive ROI. And so again, I'm not like looking to make money on YouTube. If I were to make money on YouTube down the line and my viewership increases, that's awesome, but it's a secondary consideration. So what I wanted to show you is, let me go to one of my most recent videos. I wanted to show you, this is an interesting one. So I did a brand deal reaction video on Rob Landis. This is my video from this week. And if I go to my analytics here, look at this views. So what do you think happened here? This was I had about 60 views on the video until Rob posted it on his YouTube community tab. Apologies to the folks in the IG chat because you can't really see it very well in there. But look what happens when I got this shout out. I basically got 1.8 thousand more views than normal for me. Right. So I'm at 2,000 views on this video. Right. So you never know what is going to happen. Like you never know when you're going to get a shout out. Right. So that's one lesson. Keep pumping it out because you never know what's going to happen. The other thing too is let's go to audience retention graph. So let's go to this video. This was my last video. It has about 300 views on it. I go to my analytics here. Okay, I want to go to the retention area because I think that that's going to be interesting. This is reach. So my click-through rate absolutely sucked. One of the challenges here, like a lot of people I know have like a 5 to 10% like impression click-through rate. And let me actually go through here. One of the challenges with my channel is that I created this channel about maybe 7 years ago, 8 years ago. And I made videos for about 2 or 3 years on a completely different topic. I was just giving general advice, life advice, marriage advice, work advice, things like that. And then I stopped making videos for like 5 years, right? And then when I started making content on to help creators, I just rebranded the channel. So that's why I have, let's say 40,000 subscribers some odd, but I don't get a commensurate level of views. And so I've been kind of fighting that battle all the time. So it's like when my videos get served to those 40,000 people, a huge percentage of those people aren't creators. And so they're not clicking the video, right? And so it sends a negative signal to YouTube that like, oh, my videos may not be relevant. So it's like a battle I'm fighting. It's a constant challenge, but I'm hanging in there. And so that's why my impressions click-through rate kind of sucks, but it's very lumpy, right? So you can see, 2%, 0.5% really sucks, 2%, right? One thing I'm trying is you can see I am a TubeBuddy affiliate. By the way, I'm a TubeBuddy partner. And it's something that this is a recent thing. So I've been using TubeBuddy for years, but I recently became like a partner with them. And it's really cool. So what I did on this video was I did A/B testing for the thumbnail. So I uploaded 2 different versions of the thumbnail, and TubeBuddy automatically switches between the thumbnail versions every 24 hours and then selects the one that is the best, right? So that's why you can see some lumpiness here. So probably here on day 4 is when it switched to the worst performing thumbnail, and now it's back to the good one probably, right? So this thumbnail you see here is probably the one that won, right? So that's a cool little feature. So if you want to check out TubeBuddy, you just check the description box because I'm a big fan of it. You can do keyword research and things like that too. Okay, so oh wait, no, I didn't want to click off of this. I wanted to go in here. I wanted to show you my user retention. Kayende in the chat said that technical jargon is a turnoff for a creator who simply loves to produce content. April has mentioned letting you handle the back end deals for this reason. Exactly. Yeah, creators don't want to like hear like technical jargon. That's so like annoying. Like I just love producing content, right? I'm a creative. Okay, so let me go back into that video real quick. So analytics, going down to the engagement. Okay, so this is watch time, and then here. Okay, this is the chat. This is the chart I wanted to see. So this video retention, and let me actually bring in this in the middle of the screen so people in the IG chat can see it better. Oh, that's my calendar here. Let me minimize that. And there we go. Okay, let me know. Can people in the IG chat see this now? Maybe I'm trying to move it so people can see. Let me move this up. There we go. Okay, cool. If you're not a YouTuber, and if you are a YouTuber and haven't looked at this, you should be looking at this. And let's look at, so I retained in the first 30 seconds. This is like one of the best videos for me in the last like year in terms of retention, is I retained 73% of my audience, 70% of my audience in the first 30 seconds. If you look at some of my older videos, this would drop to like 30% in the first 30 seconds in some of my other videos back in the day. So I've been like actively trying to like keep people engaged throughout the entirety of the video. A piece of advice that Patty Galloway, who is like a YouTube consultant, analytics expert, I hired him for some consulting back in the several months ago, 6 months ago maybe. And one of the like biggest pieces of advice that he gave me was that you always want your retention graph to try to basically crash in to the end of this. They like basically having people flatline this retention, like you keep the retention all the way until the very end of the video, and then you basically create this loop of watch time. So basically people get to the very end of the video, and this is like likely where let me click to the end here. This is where I start talking about the end of the video. So, right, do you see there's like a giant drop off there? See, I'm like telling people to comment down below, but you can't see this here, but I also have my end titles here. So you can click and watch my next video, right? So that's what you want to do is you want to keep viewers on your videos in these like giant watch sessions where they're like on your channel for like an hour watching going down this rabbit hole of your videos. And so that's the whole goal, is like getting this retention to like stabilize, so people like watch your video throughout the entire thing, duration. And that's when YouTube is going to start promoting your videos in suggested search, and getting more impressions of your videos for people to click on them. So this has been a long time coming. This is not something, again, not all my videos look like this. And so this is like a model video that I'm going to start looking at and seeing, okay, like where did people drop off? Like, for example, here, like, let's look at here. There was a 59% audience retention here. What did I say at 2 minutes and 7 seconds that people thought was really interesting? There's a spike there, right? So let's go check that out. Right. You can also look at these things called like continuous segment. Where were people? This was a continuous segment. Man, this is a like almost 2 minutes where people watched the entire thing. This is very interesting. This says viewers watch this section without dropping off. Great job. Right. So go and you play that clip and you watch it. Right. Let's look at dips. Where were people dipping off the video? Some people here, it says, fewer viewers watch this part of your video compared to previous parts. Interesting. What did I talk about here? Right? So being very intentional about the way in which you're like creating content really matters, because it has a big impact on the quality of your content, the quality of your videos, how much your content will be shown in feed. And so, by the way, like, you can absolutely do this type of like in-depth detail on YouTube, but yes, Instagram doesn't have this level of details, but it does have some insights. You should be looking at your content that you posted in the last 7 days. If you posted, once a day for the last 7 days, which content performed the best, right? Which had the most reach? Why did it have the most reach? Which ones got on the Explore page more than others, right? What type of content was it? Was it an in-feed post? Was it a carousel? Was it a reel? Was it an in-feed video, right? So it's like, this stuff matters. If you're not analyzing this stuff, it's going to be very hard to grow as a creator, because, it takes, I know a lot of creators think that like, oh, like it's effortless, right? You just create content and like people will come, right? But the smart creators, the ones that actually do grow, do this research, right? They do this research and they're very low ego about it, right? When it comes to like, oh, like, okay, well, this isn't working. Fine. I'm going to switch it up. That's the way I look at this, is like, man, like, if this isn't working, then why would I continue to like run my head into a brick wall and get frustrated and feel like, oh, like YouTube's never going to work for me. Like I could easily get discouraged and be like, why am I still pumping out YouTube video? I'm only getting like 300 views a video or 500 views a video or whatever. Like, that is defeatist talk. Right? Yeah. D and Fam says, I study my analytics to make content that my audience wants. Exactly. Right. We talked about this recently in this video that we were just analyzing. A lot of creators make what I call push content, right? Where they just push stuff onto their followers and they have no idea whether their audience actually wants to see that, right? Pull content. By contrast, you need to create pull content where you're actually like asking your audience, you're surveying them, and they're telling you what they want. They're pulling the content out of you so that when you create the content, you can say to them like, oh, this has been highly requested. And it actually has, right? Yeah. So like you will see that when you study your analytics and pull your audiences and you pull your followers and you actually create content that they want, your results are going to go through the roof. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. Any final questions? We're almost at the end of the live stream. Thank you so much to everyone who tuned in. But yeah, that's actually a funny thing to talk about. Another thing, and real quick, D said, now I regularly get comments from my audience say that they love watching, and I use those comments when I connect with brands. Amazing. Look, D is next level when it comes to pitching. That's why I got to get her on the live stream at some point too. Hey, fourth born child, thanks for tuning in. And one thing I just wanted to mention here, a lot of people use this jargon when they're signing off their videos, or they do this type of thing where they give indicators or tells to their audience that the video is about to end. They say, and finally, the last point I'm going to make, and then someone goes, oh, I can leave now. And they just leave the video. It's if I've done that in like videos in the past, and you see in my audience retention charts, like right when I said, and finally, and my last point, right? People just sign right off because they know the video is ending. right? So you don't want to do stuff like that. So if you're scripting out your videos or you're planning your videos or you're doing multiple takes, try to eliminate that type of language from your content so that people can't really expect when your content's going to end, so that they won't sign off, right? Another next level tactic there. But thank you so much to everyone for tuning in today. My live stream is going to be on another day next week. It's not going to be on Friday. I appreciate the kind of flexibility that you guys live stream last week was on a Thursday. I have another obligation next week, so just trying to move things around. But if you were signed up for my email list, I will let you know when the live stream is going to be. Let me actually drop the email list in the chat. If you're not signed up to my email list, I would love for you to be. It is brand deal intel for creators. So I just dropped it in the chat here. If you're on my IG live chat, you probably won't see it on my IG live, but just go into my bio and my email list will be in there. And I send out emails every single week giving brand deal intel just for creators. And so like what brands are sponsoring influencers, like who is recruiting for paid campaigns, this type of thing. I've gotten like so much amazing feedback from creators that like this, they don't like really belong to any newsletters or email lists or anything. And like mine is like one of the only ones they do because it's so useful. And so, yeah. Oh, Facebook user said, I can't see who it is. Facebook user said, your emails are awesome. Thank you so much. Hold on. I'm going to go into the, I'm going to see who is saying that in my IG live because I can't see it. Who is it? I think it might be Janelle, but I'm not sure. Janelle Kirkland, is that you? If that is you, thank you so much. Yes, Janelle, thank you so much. I appreciate that so much. I can't see the name unless I go on my Facebook. Gregarious Narain said, Facebook user here. What's up, Gregarious? Thanks so much for tuning in. As a bookend to the initial thing that we were talking about how to talk about price with brands when you're the one pitching them. Just be confident, honestly. Make it clear that this is an investment. They're going to be getting something in return from you. It's not just a marketing expense, right? And have that conversation as early as possible, right? The last thing you want to do is get down the road very far. They've already sent you the product. They're waiting for the post you to make. And then you're like, hey, by the way, do you have any, can you like maybe, like pay me if you have a little bit of money? I'm just like, I don't need that much, but like a little bit of money. No, you're not doing that, right? You're illustrating your value upfront at the beginning. Yes, I will be happy to do this for you. I'm excited about the partnership. The investment is going to be X. And by the way, here's all the things you're going to get in return, right? So it's an investment. There's an ROI that they're getting, right? So that's the conversation that you have as early as possible. So hope that helps. And I will see you next week for the live stream. Once again, thank you so much, everyone. And Chris, thank you so much again for the super chat. That really means a lot to me. Truly appreciate that. And we'll see you guys next time. Have a wonderful weekend. Talk to you soon. Bye.